Alright there geezers, Jules here from FGS, home of the Future Game Show, and today we are going to be championing the true underdog of the gaming world. No, it's not the devs. No, it's not the cleaners that have to work at the devs studios with their relentless addiction to caffeine and Monster Energy drinks. No, just let me finish, okay? I'm talking about NPCs. These wonderful weirdos are the true backbone of any gaming experience. I mean, without them, who would tell us to sweep up piles of dust in Risen? Who would get us to stop hunting for the big bad evil that's roaming the land and help them collect, I don't know, like goblin teeth? Or something like that. And how could we forget who would give us the perfect targets to take all of our anger out on, because man surely is the most delicious prey and the hunt is on. Plus they're just silly little fellas that do weird things from time to time, aren't they? Look at that guy, what's he up to? I don't know, I'm in a studio, I literally don't know what footage marks just put up here. However, sometimes an NPC will come along and cast such a long shadow that you have to ask yourself, Jesus Christ, are they better than me? The hero, are they better than me? And the short answer is a resounding yes. Yes! 1,000 times yes! So let's have a chat. As I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are video game NPCs that are secretly better than you. And of course this is the deep cut, so don't go expecting to see the likes of familiar favourites like Garrus from Mass Effect. It's deep cuts only. And I've got some weird ones. So let's kick things off by talking about number 8, caravans from Dwarf Fortress. Now I won't lie to you friends. Yay! Just by playing the old original version of Dwarf Fortress, that's pretty much the epitome of being a badass, because honestly, just making out what the hell is going on here means that you're gonna have some sort of like Neo-level Matrix shit going on, because that's just garbled code to me. Can you make sense of this? However, going even beyond this, within Dwarf Fortress lies a series of NPCs which are so insanely powerful that it honestly makes your efforts look like a piece of crap. These, believe it or not, are supply wagons, and they are secretly the most powerful thing going in this game, as they are programmed to travel through the map and trade with you no matter what odds come up against them. And that could and does include entire armies that will try to lay siege to your cities and towns. You see, these caravans, they care not for this warfare, and they will plough through the enemies to get to your door in order to display their wares. And because their bodyguards that they come with scale in power to the type and quality of the goods that the caravan is carrying, well, they will routinely embarrass your foes before then trying to sell you a rich and very expensive cantaloupe. If you want my advice, buy it and be grateful that that is all they're asking for. And speaking of produce, let's talk about number 7, Joe Jenkins from Kingdom Rush Vengeance. Now, as a lanky man from Devon, I have the utmost respect for farmers, and indeed the rusty shotguns they like to whip out at a moment's notice. I tell you, seeing an actual piece get levelled at a mate sure does put a halt on the old scrumping of apples. I don't know why I portray that I scrumped apples. I never did that. Look at these hands. Have these seen an apple scrumping day in their life? To be fair, they are pretty callous because I do a lot of climbing, but yeah. Basically, long story short, if you were caught in Devon doing this, it was a get caught scrumping, you're in for a crumping, you know, as it were. But anyway, therefore, I'm not going to throw hands at any boggis, bonce or bean, and you shouldn't either, especially not the farmer that you can actually find in Kingdom Rush Vengeance, because this is Joe Jenkins, a simple farmer looking to tend his sheep and quite possibly, if the mood strikes, say ooh-ar from time to time. And he's completely harmless. That is, unless you decide to piss him off. If you click on his sheep enough, they will burst, and if you burst all of his sheep, he'll get flocking at you and march onto your path and begin storming your home base. Now, normally, one enemy wouldn't prove a problem, especially in a tower defense title such as this, but boy, does Joe Jenkins have a shocking amount of HP and damage output. So much so that your heroes and defenses will fall in short order should you be unprepared, which you most definitely will be, because how were you meant to see this coming? I mean, yeah, you did just murder a man's livestock. You probably had every right to expect that he would retaliate in some form or fashion. But not like this. Not like this. But in that Matrix, what was her name again? Flip Switch? Rebar? I can't remember her name.
Not like this. Not like this.
Too late.
Number 6. Well, murdering a man's sheep was pretty dark, but let's get darker still as we talk about Sergeant Major Morrow from Warhammer 40k Darktide. Now I know that you're probably lighting up your keyboards, typing things like, oh, another Warhammer video game reference, Jules, Jesus Christ, why don't you just marry Warhammer already? And also, Darktide is a very, very well-known game, so how does this qualify for a deep cut episode, you absolute pre-servitor? Well, firstly, don't remind me of the love that can never happen because they are far too small and pointy to cuddle. And secondly, yes, Darktide is and hopefully will continue to be a smash hit for Games Workshop. But the focus is usually, and quite rightly, on you and your mates smashing apart literally thousands of chaos worshipping scum and not on the supporting NPCs. And let's face facts, just about all of these NPCs are actually utter badasses. You've got Swagger, the mysterious handler with their own agenda who pops up from time to time. You've got Flight Lieutenant Masozi, who drops you into the firefight and then extracts you from scenarios that one would term dangerous all the time. And then you've got Engine Seer KX-8, who is badass because, well, he's got a Welsh accent. I mean, come on, it's just very cool to hear that in the game. Tell me that I'm wrong, Mark. Please play some clips because it is just audio butter for the ear.
With Shipmistress Brown's generous permission, I make myself available to you.
However, rising above all of them in my books is Sergeant Major Morrow, who is by far the most kick-ass and badass NPC in this game by a country mile. Firstly, he fought his way to the top, surviving countless wars including the Second War of Armageddon, well, if his old uniform is to be taken as evidence, and engaged the enemy of mankind across multiple different battlefronts. Plus, when the average survival time of a deployed guardsman in the 40k universe is 15 hours on average, and the fact that he's at least in his late 40s, I'd say that he's a tough son of a gun, and make no doubt about it. But beyond that though, he's one of the few characters that you'll meet that stands up to his superiors, and even commissars who normally have no qualms about putting a bullet in your head for even the slightest insubordination, implying that not only does he have the respect of his supposed betters, but they realise that in this ongoing war for tertium, they need him much more than he needs them. And that is an absolute badass. Side note, I actually hope that Mark had fun finding footage of Morrow, seeing as he's only in like 3 cutscenes across this entire game. Love you, mate. I'm a stinker, what can I say? But anyway, let's move on to talk about number 5, random NPCs from Soul Nomad and the World Eaters. Now, while many RPGs carry a fixed roster of party members that can or must be recruited, Soul Nomad and the World Eaters offers up the ability to recruit, well, pretty much anyone you come across, albeit through some quite questionable means. You see, while some civilians may opt to fight for you thanks to your reputation or by fulfilling certain requirements, there's also the ability to kidnap them and force them to be part of your army, which is, well, it's certainly a mechanic, all right? However, there is another option available, which is simply listed as kick. Now, while you might think that kicking a random civilian might be a bit of a good laugh, and yeah, I guess it kind of is actually, you'll get nothing from this act of petty violence other than a chastising, right? Or so it would seem. For you see, the people that you f***ed off may actually end up joining the enemy when it comes to battling, and for some unknown reason, some of these NPC civilians are as strong as the final boss in the game. Firstly, what? Secondly, hang on a minute there, you're telling me Johnny No Shoes over there was just content to work in the textile factory but is actually buffer than Buff Bagwell in a peak WCW Roydy Magoo era? Come on, what's going on here? So let this be a lesson to you. Don't kick random people or they might kill you. That's pretty obvious when you think about it. Okay, let's move on and talk about number 4, Angelica from Valkyria Chronicles 4. Or Valkyria Chronicles 4 if you want to say it in a normal voice. Now friends, I'm about to drop a knowledge bomb on you fools with a character who is quite literally a walking nuke. This adorable little lass is Angelica from one of my all-time banger series, Valkyria Chronicles 4, and as her name suggests, she is as sweet as an angel and as unassuming as they come. Well, that is, until it's later revealed that she secretly belongs to a secret, long-forgotten race of people known as the Valkyrias, who possess such raw power inside of them that they can become a one-woman army thanks to them unleashing their power akin to a hydrogen bomb going off. That is terrifying, right? I mean, as has been shown in previous games in this series, these powerful beings cause absolute havoc on the battlefield and take a huge amount of effort to bring down. Therefore, it's pretty hard not to treat Angelica extra nice from this point on, lest she atomise you for not letting us stay up past 9 PM. Oh yeah, and that little tank that you've been pootling around in the game thinking you're an utter badass, well, she could crush that into a cube the size of a Coke can if she wanted to. So yeah, pretty goddamn powerful, and you just thought that you were Billy Badass up until this point. And when she's secretly revealed to be the biggest and baddest of them all, it's just like, oh, I'll just drive this tank right up my arse then. Okay, let's heat things up by talking about number 3, the shopkeeper from Abyss Odyssey. Now, being a shopkeeper in a video game is a bit of a hard graft, isn't it? I mean, not only do you have to put up with the threat of an orc or other fantastical creature smashing down your walls and wrecking your displays, but you've also got the constant worry that a player character will come in, break all of your pots, and then rob you blind by putting a basket on your head. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? What's going on here? I can't see, and I apparently lack the ability to lift it off. Well, it must be night time for me to sleep. Like a bloody bird in a cage. Still, there are some shopkeepers in video games who do not, under any circumstances, mess around. And while this might lead you to think of Karen from Hades or the store owner from Cave Story, we're actually going to be going a bit more obscure today by talking about Abyss Odyssey. Now, things in Abyss Odyssey are tough at the best of times, so the thought of stealing a few extra lotions and or potions might actually seem quite tempting. However, don't even think about it, friends, as the shopkeeper you find in this game is a total badass right down to the core. For a start, you're actually warned by wounded soldiers that you come across that they have been brought to the brink of death as they were caught stealing from the store. Surely that's enough of a warning, right? Right? Oh, it looks like you're ignoring me and just trying to pocket some goods. Well, enjoy a super tough boss fight as your reward, you fool. I mean, this dude set up shop inside a hellscape and butchered any chancers who attempted to steal from him. You were warned with such a big red flag that bloody Billy Talent wrote a song about it. Cast off the crutch that kills the flame, the red flag. He sang it a little less sarcastically than I did, though. Let's keep the good tales rolling as we talk about number 2, Kaelin from Tavern Talk. Now, when it comes to indie cozy bar simulator Tavern Talk, there is no shortage of badasses to choose from, mainly because 90% of the clientele that you serve in this mystical tavern are travelling adventurers looking to dose on some sweet-ass potions before they go on their own mighty quest. The other 10% of things quaffing your potions, by the way, is Andu, you know, the weird bucket dragon that you keep and that you can just pour any mixture that you just didn't do correctly into. Bless this boggle-eyed little menace, man. I mean, like, he is quaffing some serious gunpowder right here, and he's just like, yeah, more please. Oh, that was quite refreshing. Don't worry about the fact that my insides are now turning into some sort of temporal portal. Therefore, picking just one NPC to single out here was pretty tough. That was until I remembered Kaelin, who might be the coolest fantasy adventurer that I've come across in quite a while. She is a berserker / warrior who confidently takes on the mightiest challenges, absolutely hates small talk, and has a gnarly scar across her face to boot, which is basically the tick-tick-tick trifecta of badass however you cut it. However, she's not actually made of stone, carrying with her a sword that was gifted to her by her baba, and even though others have gifted her more magically imbued equipment, she refuses to use it out of respect and love for her baba. Plus, I guess it's made out of a special material that means that it's heat resistant, and yeah, she loves fighting dragons, so it kind of just feels like it's a natural compliment to her there. But still, yeah, the love as well, And you know what, there's something really satisfying watching her soften over the course of the game, especially when it comes to asking for help and taking a chance forming a party with other heroes. In essence, it makes the strong even stronger, as now she doesn't have to shoulder the burden all the time, and come the end of this game, she's galvanized by the support that others give her. Honestly, that's the real secret badass thing about this game, and that is the power of friendship, which sounds corny until you remember that she can rip your throat out at a moment's notice. So yeah, go on, laugh at her for accepting help from others. I dare ya. And number 1, and so we close the show on something a little different here, because I'm actually going to throw to the devs of Atomfall, as recently, well, at least at the time of recording this episode, we went to a pre-launch event in a converted pub to play the game and sit down to chat with them about all things British indeed. Gouverneur. And we asked them what makes a great NPC and who amongst their mad cast was actually their favourite, and, well, this was their answer. So take it away.
My favourite NPC in Atomfall it has to be a toss-up between Captain Sims and Nat. I have a soft spot with them because I actually did the voices for them during development. So they're both me in different iterations. Thankfully, they've been replaced by professional actors now, but they still have a soft spot for them. So every time I hear Nat with his "How do," it's me somehow inside. So yeah, he's my favourite. And you can steal his guitar if you really want to.
Right, that's enough of them trying to steal the limelight, and back to me to close out the show. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. And if you want to go follow us over on our social medias, you can follow me over on Blue Sky over here, where it's @RetroJ, but the O is a 0, or you can follow my lovely editor Mark over here on his social medias as well. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Even though we spoke today a lot about NPCs who were secretly better than you and utter badasses, you know what, my friend? That's actually not that true, because deep within us, there is a badass in all of us, my friends, and it can be unlocked by just being kind to ourselves, because at the end of the day, I want to champion you. I don't want to make you feel bad by pointing at some video game characters and saying that they're better than you, because you're a massive ledge and you deserve the best, all right? Like love, happiness, and success, and do not let anything or anyone, including me, tell you otherwise, all right? And get out there and smash your life goals. I believe in you, my friend. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon.